Hey love, guess what? Your mom has started showing me a lot of kindness these days. She often sends me messages and calls me, making me feel like she's finally starting to like me a bit. Have you talked to her recently? I know the two of you haven't always been on the best terms. I was completely taken aback when I read Gregory's message. My mom, Marilyn, was known for her tough and unfriendly nature. Over time, she managed to push away not only me, but nearly all of our family except my sister, Evelyn. To keep our own family life peaceful, my husband and I made sure to stay a safe distance from her, though I never shared the extent of her actions with Gregory. I wanted to leave that chapter of my life behind. I couldn't stop wondering what led to this sudden change in her. Was it sincere, or did she have some hidden motive? My mom's behavior was always full of secret plans and manipulations, making me skeptical about her newfound niceness toward Gregory. As time passed, Marilyn and Gregory's interactions grew. She sent him lighthearted texts, called to talk, and even asked him out for lunch. Part of me almost wished for a chance to have a mom in my life again, but mostly I was concerned. I attempted to share my worries with Gregory, but he didn't take them seriously, saying it was nice to be on good terms with my mom. He couldn't grasp the years of tension and distance that led us to stay away from Marilyn. I couldn't shake off the feeling that something wasn't right. Knowing my mom, I doubted she had truly changed. There must be another reason behind her sudden friendliness towards Gregory. Gregory, we need to have a serious talk. I'm really concerned about the amount of time you're spending with Marilyn lately. I haven't been completely honest about how unpredictable and harmful she can be. Love, what are you worried about? Marilyn and I have just been enjoying some coffee and catching up. It's nothing to worry about. Maybe she's trying to make amends. As Gregory brushed aside my fears, frustration, and anxiety bubbled up inside me. How could he not see the true nature of my mother? Gregory, please listen. I've seen how manipulative Marilyn can be. She has a knack for twisting situations and creating trouble. I'm genuinely worried about her intentions. I don't think we should trust her. Despite my earnest request, Gregory remained convinced that Marilyn had indeed turned a new leaf, unaware of her true character. A heavy sense of dread weighed down on me, signaling a possible rift in our bond, one that we might not successfully bridge. Reflecting on our journey together, there was a period when Gregory and I shared genuine joy. Despite the occasional challenges, our bond was robust, and we complemented each other perfectly. Those simpler times are now cherished memories, never hinting at the complex web of treachery and deceit our story would later weave. The impending crisis would push me to my limits, transforming the one I wholeheartedly trusted into someone unrecognizable. Yet, at that moment, self-doubt crept in, making me question if I had been too harsh on Gregory. Gregory, I'm sorry if I've come across as distrustful lately. My past experiences with Marilyn make it hard for me to accept that she could really change. I didn't mean to cast doubt on you. Doris, it's okay. I understand. Nothing can ever drive a wedge between us. I know your relationship with her hasn't been easy. It's natural to feel apprehensive. Gregory's readiness to recognize my concerns and offer his forgiveness brought a wave of comfort to me. It was a flicker of hope in the shadow of our troubles. Thank you, Gregory. I want to try and see the good in her again. Let's navigate this path together. As we held each other, I dared to believe that perhaps everything might turn out fine. But just as the last remnants of uncertainty began to clear, Gregory dropped a bombshell that made my blood run cold. By the way, Marilyn has invited us to dinner along with your sister Evelyn. She said she's looking to heal the family rift. Doris, this might be a positive step for you. My heart raced at his words. Marilyn's unexpected invitation triggered every alarm in my mind. I couldn't shake off the feeling that this dinner was anything but a straightforward family gathering. It felt like walking into a well-laid trap. Gregory, please tread lightly. Something about this doesn't sit right with me. I'm willing to try and mend fences, but something about this dinner feels off. My sister, Evelyn, had a history of being my mother's right-hand woman, and my instincts screamed that they were up to no good. Gregory's face fell from inquisitive to concerned as he took in my apprehensions. Despite my attempts to convince him, we ultimately decided to attend the dinner. 2 weeks later, I found myself hesitantly standing outside my mother's home, a place I hadn't set foot in for years. The thought of dining with Gregory, Marilyn, and Evelyn stirred a whirlpool of anxiety and reluctance within me. This reunion felt like unsealing a Pandora's box I had long wished remained shut. Doris, dear, it's absolutely delightful to see you. We've missed you so much, my mother exclaimed with open arms. Thanks, Mom. I appreciate the invite. I managed, despite the turmoil inside. "Oh, how I've yearned for the days when both my girls were nearby," she sighed. "Doris, just look at you, all grown up. And Gregory, you're quite fortunate to have such a stunning wife," Evelyn chimed in, her arms enveloping me, though her words felt insincere. Their warm reception left me feeling off balance, particularly Evelyn's tone, which seemed to hide something sinister. "Thanks, Evelyn. Gregory certainly has an eye for quality," I replied, attempting to brush off my discomfort. Dinner unfolded with a facade of normalcy, filled with light-hearted banter, laughter, and shared memories. On the surface, it resembled a family catching up after a long separation. Yet, beneath the veneer, I noticed Evelyn's prolonged glances and excessive compliments towards Gregory, which set off alarm bells. Despite my reservations, I chose to trust Gregory and focused on the possibility of mending family connections. However, as the evening progressed, my discomfort only grew. Evelyn's overt attention towards Gregory became impossible to overlook, especially when she sought moments to speak with him privately. "So, Gregory, you seem like the ideal husband. Does Doris ever make you feel restricted?" she probed during dinner. "No, we share a strong foundation of trust, right, Doris?" Gregory responded, seeking my affirmation. "Absolutely, darling," I agreed, though Evelyn's insinuation lingered uncomfortably. "I sure know what I'd do to keep a man like you," Evelyn added, her remark leaving a sour taste. The dinner concluded, leaving me with a lingering sense of unease. In the following weeks, the situation deteriorated further. Out of nowhere, Evelyn sent me a message. "Hey, sis, it was so nice to catch up with you and Gregory the other evening." "Hey, Evelyn. Thanks for having us over," I started, trying to keep the atmosphere light. "It was my pleasure," she replied with a smile. "Hey, how about we get together again? It'd be great for us sisters to catch up properly." Evelyn's suggestion took me by surprise. Given her past alliance with our mom in causing me distress, her sudden interest in reconnecting left me puzzled. Despite the odd vibes from the dinner, Evelyn hadn't crossed any lines, so I felt compelled to give her the benefit of the doubt. "Sure, what do you have in mind?" "How about coffee? I'll send you the place and time tomorrow, say around 11. "Okay, that sounds good. Looking forward to it," I replied, albeit with a hint of apprehension. Arriving at the coffee shop, I couldn't help but wonder, can people genuinely change? It was time to find out. "Hi, Evelyn. It's been too long. I'm glad we're doing this," I said, hoping for a positive turn. "Doris, I've missed you. Let's sit down and catch up." Evelyn welcomed me warmly, a gesture that eased some of my initial unease. "It's good to see you too, Evelyn. It feels like forever since we just hung out," I admitted, allowing myself a sliver of hope for a renewed sisterly bond. "All that's in the past now. So, how have you been?" she inquired, genuinely interested. "Gregory and I are doing well. Really happy together," I shared, hoping to steer the conversation toward more neutral topics. Then Evelyn's curiosity took a turn that caught me off guard. "So, Doris, how did you and Gregory become a thing? He's always seemed so reserved and particular. What's your secret?" Her sudden focus on my husband puzzled me. "Well, we just clicked, you know," I answered, trying to keep my response vague. "And your marriage? It's going well, I assume," Evelyn pressed on, her interest in Gregory more pronounced. "Evelyn, I thought today was about us, the sisters, reconnecting. Why all the questions about Gregory?" I asked, trying to understand her motives. Evelyn's gaze faltered, and I could sense a shift in her attitude. Her repeated probing about Gregory set off alarm bells in my mind. Was there a hidden reason for her interest? "Just curious, that's all. I've been unlucky in love recently and thought maybe you could share some advice. Gregory seems really into you," she finally said, attempting to brush off her earlier intensity. Her explanation did little to quell my suspicions. Something didn't feel right about her sudden curiosity about my relationship with Gregory. "Evelyn, wanting a man's heart isn't about employing tactics or manipulation. It's rooted in creating a genuine bond, filled with trust and understanding. However, I'm curious. Why the sudden interest in finding someone like Gregory?" I questioned, noting her unease and the way she toyed with her coffee cup, her gaze averted. It felt like old family issues were surfacing again. Could my mother be involved in this too? "Well, Marilyn has been on my case to settle down, comparing me to you, and I suppose I'm seeking some direction. You're like the standard she holds me up to." Evelyn confessed, revealing a layer of vulnerability I hadn't anticipated. The standard. My mother's expectations were something I thought I had long escaped. Evelyn's mention of Marilyn confirmed my fears. There was a scheme brewing. Despite my reservations, I continued our conversation, sharing generalities about Gregory, trying to see if this could be a genuine attempt at sisterly bonding. As I returned home later, I found Gregory in the kitchen preparing a snack. "Hey, love. How was your day?" "Pretty good, just hung out with Evelyn for a bit," I responded, trying to sound casual. "That's awesome. You two haven't been close, right?" "No, she's always been more aligned with Mom. But yeah, it's nice trying to reconnect," I admitted, not fully convinced of my own words. The ensuing week flew by, and the strangeness of my coffee meeting with Evelyn faded into the background. Yet, a disturbing pattern began to emerge. Gregory remained amiable with my mother, but his warmth towards me started to wane, and a sense of distance crept between us. I caught myself frequently glancing at my phone, confronting a mix of disappointment and acceptance, as I noted Gregory's growing list of work commitments and his increasingly scarce presence at home. Initially, I brushed off my concerns, attributing his absence to his dedication to work. Yet a gnawing doubt persisted. Then, unexpectedly, my mother reached out. We hadn't spoken since that peculiar dinner. "Hey, Doris, it's been a while. How have you been?" Her message popped up, igniting a whirlwind of emotions and suspicions about her intentions and the unfolding dynamics within my family. "Hey, Mom, things have been pretty busy, but I'm doing okay. How about yourself?" I replied, trying to maintain a cordial tone despite the unease that always seemed to accompany our conversations. "I've been fine. But Doris, I need to tell you that something significant is about to happen to you. Something that will make you see the consequences of how you've treated your mother over the years," Marilyn's message read, sending a chill down my spine. What could she possibly mean by a big surprise? And what was she planning? "Mom, I'm not sure what you're implying. I haven't betrayed anyone. I've always hoped we could maintain peace between us," I responded, my mind spinning with potential scenarios. "Don't worry, dear. Let's just say you'll soon face the repercussions of your actions." "Take care," she replied, her message ominously vague and unsettling. I felt a wave of nausea as I read her words, unaware that this was the prelude to a devastating blow to my marriage. However, when Gregory returned home that evening, the last thing I expected was the bombshell he was about to drop. "Doris, we need to have a serious talk. There's something important I need to tell you," Gregory began, his demeanor grave. "What's going on, Gregory? You seem troubled. Is everything okay?" I asked, my anxiety heightening. "It's hard to say this, but I've made a decision. I'm divorcing you, Doris. I've fallen in love with someone else, and I have to follow my heart," he confessed, his words striking me like a thunderbolt. Divorce? In love with someone else. My world started to spin as I struggled to comprehend his words. "How could this happen? And who is it?" I stammered, a sense of betrayal engulfing me. "I'm so sorry, Doris. This isn't how I wanted things to end. It's Evelyn. We've developed feelings for each other, and we're planning to get married." "I can't imagine my life without her now," Gregory revealed, his admission cutting deeper than I could have imagined. Tears blurred my vision as the shock of his words settled in. My sister? Betrayed by Gregory and Evelyn? "Gregory, how could you? With my sister?" I managed to say, my voice trembling with emotion. "This is unbelievable. How could you both do this to me?" "Doris, I know this is hard, but you have to understand. Evelyn and I are truly happy. And your mom? She's been supportive. She's even helping us financially to start over," he added, twisting the knife further. The realization that my mother, Marilyn, was orchestrating this betrayal from behind the scenes was overwhelming. The pain of Gregory's betrayal was compounded by the involvement of my own family, leaving me feeling utterly alone and betrayed. The revelation from Gregory was a crushing blow, illuminating a sinister plot I could never have imagined. My mother, Marilyn, had engineered the entire scenario, manipulating Gregory to dismantle our marriage and home. The betrayal ran deep, implicating not just Marilyn, but Evelyn and Gregory as well, signaling a collective abandonment by those I considered closest. Gregory attempted to justify his actions, speaking of newfound happiness, but each word only amplified the ruin of the world we had built together. The trust and love that once anchored our relationship were now in ruins, leaving me to face an uncertain and painful future. Fury surged within me, directed at Gregory, Marilyn, and the entire betrayal. How could you betray me like this, Gregory? After everything to choose my sister? I demanded, my voice shaking with anger. Leave this house immediately. Doris, I can't just walk away. We need to figure out how to move on from this. I still want happiness for you, Gregory pleaded, his words offering no solace. There's nothing to discuss, Gregory. You've destroyed everything. Our trust, our marriage. I can't stand to see you, I insisted, my resolve hardening. Pack your belongings and leave. Now. Doris, this isn't just or fair, Gregory protested weakly. I don't care. Leave. I cut him off, unable to entertain any excuses. As Gregory collected his belongings, a maelstrom of feelings overwhelmed me: anger, betrayal, sorrow. Despite a fleeting moment of self-pity, I watched him prepare to exit our shared life. I truly regret the pain I've caused you. I hope you can forgive me someday, Gregory said, pausing at the door, a hollow apology hanging in the air. Just go, I urged, my voice barely above a whisper. Watching him leave, the stark reality of my predicament settled in. Isolated, deceived by those I loved most, I collapsed, overtaken by grief. The daunting questions of survival and the possibility of moving forward loomed large. Could I ever open my heart again? That evening, as if to twist the knife further, Marilyn sent a taunting message. Doris, just thought you'd like to know that I've won. Gregory is now under my influence, and you're left with nothing. He'll be ours forever. And you? You're doomed to a life of misery, unable to break free from my grasp. Her words were a chilling affirmation of the depth of her cruelty and manipulation, leaving me to confront the wreckage of my life and the daunting task of rebuilding from the ashes of betrayal. Feeling the weight of my mother's cruel words, I couldn't help but wonder how things had reached this point. How could someone who was supposed to love and protect me relish in my misery, using my sister as a pawn to rip my world apart? It was a betrayal beyond comprehension. Despite the deep wounds she inflicted, I refused to let her actions define my future. Your attempts to hurt me have failed, Mom. You've lost me for good this time. While Gregory may have left, I've only grown stronger. I will find joy on my terms, without needing anyone to validate my worth, I vowed, blocking her number, and deciding it would be our final exchange. Barely a day had passed when an unexpected visitor appeared at my door. Opening it, I found Gregory, a mix of anger and regret etched across his face. Gregory, what are you doing here? I thought we had closed this chapter. If there's something to discuss, it should be through lawyers, I said, firm yet bewildered by his presence. Don't act like you didn't know about your mom's antics, Doris. Why didn't you warn me? Gregory's frustration was palpable, hinting at turmoil I hadn't anticipated. Warn you? What's happening? I asked, genuinely unaware of the current drama. Evelyn's after my money, and your mom. She's relentless. They've made my life unbearable, he confessed, the situation clearly taking a toll on him. I did try to tell you, Gregory. You know how manipulative they can be, but you chose not to listen. I reminded him gently, a sad realization dawning on me. Regret flashed across Gregory's face as he recounted the empty promises and manipulations he'd fallen for. I thought I was protecting you by not dragging you back into their chaos. I guess I was wrong, I sighed, feeling a mixture of vindication and sorrow. Please, Doris, take me back. I'll do anything, Gregory pleaded, a desperate edge to his voice. But the damage was done. Gregory, you chose to betray our marriage. I can't just pretend none of this happened. It's best we part ways, I responded, my heart heavy yet resolute. Despite Gregory's attempts to argue, plead, and even bargain for forgiveness, I stood firm. Our divorce proceeded amicably, and I cut ties with my mother, marking a new beginning for myself. It was a harsh lesson in self-respect and standing up against those who sought to undermine me. In the aftermath, I embraced a fresh start. I embarked on a new career, relocated to a different country, and found love once again. Now, as I prepare to marry, I look forward to this new chapter in my life with open arms and a heart full of hope, more content and fulfilled than I've ever been before.